Good morning and welcome to our thought for the day for Friday the 5th of March. Today something slightly different. I'm going to read to you a post that I found on Facebook that was put up by Simon Gilbo. Simon has come and talked a few years ago up at the Memorial Hall at Binstead about his experiences in Burundi. He's a church leader, a wonderful speaker and a very brave man. And he wrote this about a friend of his called Caleb Meekins, who died last year. And it really touched me, and I just thought I'd share it with you this morning. This is what he writes. On this day last year, my dear friend Caleb Meekins graduated to glory after days battling to overcome injuries sustained in a car crash in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. His death left many of us reeling because he had so much love, energy and passion to give, and it all felt so wrong. To understand Caleb, you had to know the defining moment in his life. His English father worked for Tear Fund and had married his Ethiopian mother. In 1996, his dad's plane was hijacked and crash-landed in shallow waters just off the Grand Comore Island in the Indian Ocean. As the plane was losing altitude, his father stood up and shared Jesus with the screaming passengers. Not all of them died, and that was how Caleb came to know through the testimony of the survivors that his earthly father had been consistent in his faith and courageous to the last. As a student at Loughborough University, coincidentally the same one that Simon Gilbo attended 15 years before, Caleb had contacted me after being impacted by a book I'd written. I wasn't part of his inner circle, but I was keen to help nurture and encourage this supremely talented younger brother in any way possible. He came out to visit us in Burundi, and my kids absolutely loved him. Later on, we shared a twin bed for several nights together, while speaking at a conference in Northern Ireland. I got some hilarious footage of him snoring loudly, so he wasn't the best roommate if I'd wanted a good night's sleep. In fact, the flu he had at the time he duly passed on to me, which meant I remembered him with a distinct lack of fondness for another fortnight. But how we laughed, and how we dreamt together. Caleb was a beautiful blend of big dreams, creative ideas, entrepreneurial nous, winsome ability to connect, deeply kind and caring, empowering of others, self-deprecating, adventurous, willing to take risks. The list goes on. I've just had a nostalgic look through a few of the films on his YouTube channel, and one of the many things he did was to take on a challenge of doing 40 days of failure, i.e. taking on something that he knew he'd probably fail at to see how it worked out. It was about overcoming the fear of failure, and invariably failure was a great learning experience. Simple things like getting on a train and doing his first live song. He talks about this in a TED Talk. Now, Caleb had a truly dreadful singing voice, but he stood up, introduced himself, and blasted out the song Stand By Me. Stone silence and heads down from all the passengers. You can imagine it, can't you? Okay, that didn't go so well. Could any of you join me if we try again? The second rendition saw a builder and another woman join him at the chorus. Progress. Hey guys, come on, let's do it. Let's try it one more time. And the whole carriage sang together with gusto and clapped and cheered at the end. He said he went from 0% to 100% confidence. And that experience was repeated time and time again. And seriously, if you're going to waste some time surfing the web this week, why not check out him getting dressed up as an Arab sheikh and trying to test drive a Lamborghini, or embarking on giving a lecture at UCL in front of several hundred students until the actual real lecture arrived, or blagging his way onto the red carpet with Sarah Jessica Parker for her movie launch. the list goes on. Friends posted him challenges and he rose to them, showing us all in the process that taking risks and stepping out usually turns out just fine. This led to a few TED Talks where he spoke as an expert in failure. Now I love it that Caleb was courted for a job in the UK by an outfit that always got who they wanted. They saw how good he was, but he turned them down. He then decided to go back to live in Ethiopia, and he had his fingers in so many creative pies that when the accident happened, sorry, I got that wrong. He went back, he decided to go back to live in Ethiopia and had his finger in so many creative pies there when the accident happened. Indeed, there's so much more that I could share about that chapter, but this needs to come to an end. I last saw Caleb when speaking at the summer Shift event on the Troughton farm near Cheltenham. Shift was a movement he'd started with the aim of seeing his generation captivated by God and impacting culture. Several hundred of us laughed and worshipped and dreamt together over several days. He was only 31 years old, and he didn't seek the limelight in any way, but it was clear everyone looked to him as the leader. I have to say, he packed more into those 31 years than many do in their 70 years and 10. And certainly he wasn't one whose highest aspiration was to arrive safely at death. But now he's gone. What a spectacular loss he is to the many, many people he influenced. Most immediately, of course, to his wonderful mother, Ruth, and his sisters, Lydia and Abby, who have lost the two closest men in their lives. Lord, comfort them. There was so much more to come from Caleb as I saw it, yet it wasn't to be. Many things happen that we simply can't understand, and trying to muster a satisfactory explanation is futile. His death was a tragedy, and today's the first anniversary of his passing. But because of the timing of his death, with the onset of the pandemic, there was no memorial service in England, and we didn't get the chance to come and grieve together. And that's why I wanted to write this, to remember our precious brother. Mercifully, we do not grieve as others who have no hope. That's from 1 Thessalonians 4:13. And the last talk I gave on that Shift weekend was from 1 Corinthians 13, verse 12, where Paul writes, "For now we see only a reflection as in a mirror, then we shall see face to face. Now I know in part, then I shall know fully, even as I am fully known." Well, dear Caleb, you've beaten us there. Now you know fully, even as you are fully known. How amazing that must be. We miss you, we honour you, we remember you. And as we thank God for your life, we vow to step up and take risks, embrace failure, and be part of a movement that shifts our culture in the right direction. When I read that, I just wanted to share it with you. I found it deeply moving, and despite the tragedy, we are marking someone's death, despite the tragedy of the situation, it's somehow full of hope. It's really encouraging. It's really inspiring. And I just hope that you've been inspired too. If you want to check it out, if you go on Google and write Simon Gilbo down, you'll find that he's got a page where he writes a blog, and you'll find it on there. And I'm sure some of you will also be following this up, trying to find his TED Talks, Caleb Meakin's TED Talk. If you Google that, you'll find him again. But for now, have a great day. Don't be worried about failing, whatever it is that you're facing. Take risks. Remember, be inspired and encouraged by Caleb Meekins. Bye-bye.